And simplicity, you mentioned this in another video, but I want to touch on this before. You mentioned I'm buying a house with stuff. When you're doing probate inheritance deals, what would you say the percentage of houses that you buy with stuff left in it is?
Oh, all of them. I mean, that is a line in my contract that says not only are you conveying the property, you are conveying all of the personal property that is inside the house. Because the last thing that I want to get into is get into the situation where it's like, hey, my grandmother's heirloom vase was left in the house and it's in a dumpster. And it's like, yeah, your grandmother's heirloom vase was sold to me and I have disposed of it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's making sure of that. And I would actually say a lot of times when you're working through these negotiations on an offer, that's one of the first things that I mentioned. Oh, hey, you also don't have to clean this out. We specifically have a crew that does this. You don't have to worry about this. Let us take care of the burden of getting rid. Go through, take the stuff you want, please, but leave everything that's not. We'll take care of that.
Yeah, we tell people that too. It's go in, get what you want. And a lot of times families inherited a lot of stuff and they only want a handful of things like keepsakes and family heirlooms. 90% of the stuff in the house to them, to the heirs, is junk. Now, it may have meant something to their mom or whatever, right? But the reality is the heirs are like, no, I want this and I want that. But the rest of the stuff, they really don't want it. And to them, having to get rid of all this stuff is a burden. Having to have an estate sale, get a junk removal company involved. Sometimes we get people who are like, oh, we're going to clean the house out yourself. And I'm like, you sure about that? You sure you want to do that? Like, what if I told you didn't have to do that? And they're like, wait, what? We don't have to clean it out? They say, no, we'll buy it as is. We'll clean it out. And they'll say, well, sign me up. Let's do this.
That's awesome.
You know?
All the stuff where you just got, we've got situations where you got basements full of stuff that it's just like, do you want to go through all that stuff? Maybe go through it, but then leave it there. Well, we got this.
Oh, I've gotten so much random stuff over the years from families, especially the long distance ones where maybe they don't live in the area. For example, I've got a lawn tractor, a Husqvarna lawn tractor that I use on my lawn at my house. It was left over in an estate and none of the heirs wanted it because they all lived hundreds of miles away. And at the end of the day, the thing was probably worth, $300 if you put it on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. And then you have to deal with somebody. He's like, do you want that lawn tractor? I said, sure, I'll take it. And I took it. Now I use it on my house to clean up leaves in my yard. And it was just a burden. To him, he saw it as a burden. He's like, I don't want this thing, right? It's, how do I get rid of this? And to us, it's just like, oh, well, it's just, we'll throw it away or we'll get rid of it or donate it. We deal with that sometimes where people are like, can you donate this to charity? Absolutely. So we'll call up, whatever charity, hey, come get it. Come take whatever you want. That way they don't have to facilitate that. We do it for them. Yeah.
No, it's good. There's a lot of that. How do you handle that? It's a burden. There's usually a lot of stuff that's just like, it's worthless. I think the worst one is when you have people that think the stuff is worthwhile when it's not, but that's a whole other story. Yes. Yeah. I had one of my guys, there was this big hutch in the house. And it was a beautiful hutch, just carved oak and like beveled glass doors and all this stuff. It was like a China hutch. And my guy, and they wanted to leave it, the sellers wanted to leave it behind. And I said, okay, sure, no problem, whatever. But my guy that works for me was like, that thing's worth a lot of money. And I was like, no, it's not. And he said, yeah, it is. You could easily get this. I said, great. You have 2 days to get rid of this thing. I give you 2 days. And you can try to sell it and you get to keep the money. And he put it up on Marketplace and he put it up, nobody could, crickets, right? He dropped the price down to like $100. Crickets. Put it down for free. Come get it. Crickets. Nobody wanted this thing. It was so big. We had to get a chainsaw
I don't know how they got it into the house to begin with. I don't know how it fit through the front door, right?
Yep.
It must have been assembled in the house. We had to cut the thing up with a chainsaw and get rid of it out of the house because it wouldn't fit out the door because it weighed hundreds of pounds and it was huge. And it really wasn't worth what people thought it was worth. So